Welcome to the Society Show featuring Christian Patterson. Our twist
is Jamie and I may have a disagreement.
Yeah, you can't just say whatever you want about people just because you're rich.
I have an absolute right to mock them on YouTube. In fact, let's read it right here. It's, hey,
Dad, look at me.
Sam Seder, are you going to apologize?
Sorry, I can't be perfect.
For repeatedly hosting Marcy Wheeler, an FBI cooperator.
He's a licensed federal booby inspector.
And proven fabulist. The Judith Miller of the Trump-Russia fiasco.
I've been asked to talk about Russia, and I might talk about Russia.
Go on your show for uncritical interviews, thereby deceiving your audience and helping to perpetuate a...
What you say?
I don't know if that was spelled right, but a giant fraud.
When I just got a new condo, I threw a couple house parties. All I saw was just the fake LA bitches.
And the answer is no, but I want to...
Perpetrate a fraud, not perpetuate.
Oh, okay. Perpetrate a fraud.
Fake LA bitches.
A giant fraud. And well, the answer is no, Michael. Welcome to the show.
Welcome to the jungle.
But I am interested in talking to you about this because I am somewhat baffled.
What you say?
By some of the critique and the celebration or
Partying.
or what it's about.
What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
On your part. So let's just start with this so that we have some basic sort of understanding of where we both stand on this.
Liberals need to stand up.
Do you agree?
Yes, we all agree.
That there should have been an investigation launched by Robert Mueller.
What if I'm incredibly qualified for the FBI, but 14 years old?
Well, first of all, Sam, I genuinely appreciate you having me on because I feel like this is an extraordinarily important topic and needs to be discussed rationally by people of good faith.
Facts don't care about your feelings.
So, thank you, sincerely.
Virginity is cool. Come on. Virginity is cool. What up? Virginity is cool.
I do want to get to that, but I want to just explain that tweet first because I know it's an incendiary charge.
We'll get to the
right?
tweet. We'll get to the tweet, but let's start with just the underlying reality.
The tweet was the whole impetus for this conversation.
Right? Well, no. The whole impetus of the conversation is that I've been interested in having having a broader conversation about this, and you were one of those people, and it popped up. I mean, to be honest, honestly, you wouldn't be the first person.
Kim's the first girl I kissed.
And I would have chosen who to represent this.
Makes me laugh.
I'm just being honest.
Okay.
But it just, fate would have it.
Sneaking up on you when you think everything's okay.
But before we get to a third order or fourth order
Welcome to Good Burger, home of the Good Burger. Can I take your order?
thing, I just want to know the underlying reason for this conversation is the Mueller investigation. So let's just start. Then people are going to understand at least where you're coming from here. And I'm just curious.
Now I wonder
if you do whatever, think that there was a reason to have the investigation of the special counsel.
Well, the special counsel investigation we now know was launched on false pretenses because the impetus for the investigation
at the time, let's put it this way, at the time,
can I complete the thought?
Sure.
The thought?
Because I see the trust in their eyes.
The impetus for the investigation, according to all the Democrats who heralded Robert Mueller as this valiant savior.
The Democrats did not appoint Robert Mueller.
But they heralded his appointment.
My name is Harold. You might recognize me from the memes.
Okay, but...
And they touted him vociferously.
Triangulate your position, sir. You are perpendicular to the ground.
As the person who is going to hold Trump accountable for his purported...
That's actually a common misconception. The paradigm inherent to the postmodernist fallacy of a priori knowledge stems from a systemic predilection to binary dichotomies.
conspiratorial relationship with Putin that came to be characterized as collusion.
I've been asked to talk about Russia, and I might talk about Russia.
That was the whole reason why Democrats were so adamant that this investigation had to
Who
be launched.
appointed Robert Mueller? Who appointed Robert Mueller?
People that had gay sex hundreds of times in coffins.
I don't absolve any of these security state officials that Democrats and MSNBC decided that they were in love with.
What is love? Baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me no more.
Over the past 2.5 years, because they were convenient foils for Donald Trump. I think it's a total journalistic disgrace.
Do you think
people like John Brennan
the
were
Mueller
hired by MSNBC?
Michael, listen.
Hey, listen.
This is a very easy question for us to have to start this Okay?
Go ahead.
The question is,
And what the hell is on Joey said?
did you think it was appropriate to have this to launch this investigation?
Sure. I think the underlying thing has now been proven to be a fraud.
Fake LA bitches.
And it was apparent to me from the very outset, so going back to July of 2016, that it was a fraud.
Fake LA bitches.
Okay.
You could see the narrative congeal in real time. You got to let me complete a thought.
Well, you're not answering the question. You're not answering the question, Michael.
And what the hell is on Joey said?
This is a very easy question.
Well, the years start coming and they don't stop coming.
Because when Glenn was asked this question, when Matt is asked this question, they can answer it without giving an extended. This is a very easy question.
Why'd you put the bananas in there?
George likes the bananas.
So let him have bananas on the side.
All right.
I always believed that maximum government transparency is optimal.
Triangulate your position, sir. You are perpendicular to the ground.
But I was never cheerleading for Robert Mueller because I understood that the entire investigation was predicated on a fraud. Therefore, I didn't think it would uncover anything that related to its core mandate, which was the Trump-Russia conspiracy. So no, I wasn't going around screaming and chanting and marching in the streets like a lot of liberals and Democrats for Robert Mueller and like touting him as this folk hero.
Did you know you used to be my hero?
Right.
So no, I was never an advocate for the investigation, but I didn't oppose it. Okay. I was agnostic about the investigation.
Okay. So I'm not asking if you cheerleaded.
I'm sexy, I'm cute, I'm popular to boot.
For the investigation. I'm not asking if you marched against the investigation. Did you think it was appropriate to have the investigation?
Well, I wasn't against the investigation because I always thought that it had the potential to implicate various Trump apparatchiks and, crooks that he surrounds himself with in crimes.
Whoa, isn't that stealing? No, it's just looting.
That are ancillary or unrelated to the core conspiracy charge. So if somebody like Manafort or, Roger Stone or
fucking assholes,
somebody got wrapped up in a criminal indictment that stemmed from the original special counsel investigation, I wasn't going to complain about that.
We all agree.
Want people who are in positions of power
That's
to be
what happened.
Like Manafort.
Correct, right?
But that's what happened. But the investigation also sparked
test your luck.
A tidal wave of conspiratorial frenzy.
Okay,
that
but
pertains
Michael,
to the core.
Michael, you are giving me an answer about retrospect. If you want to say in retrospect, I regret.
Sorry, I can't be perfect.
That I thought there should be an investigation, or in retrospect, I was against this from the very beginning. That's a perfectly suitable answer, but I'm just trying to get us on some type of ground of footing.
Do you believe in life after love?
I do believe there should have been an investigation. And when he fired Comey, the head of the FBI,
he's a licensed federal booby inspector,
and went on and said, I fired him because of this investigation, I clearly thought there should be an investigation.
What you say?
Now, you're telling me you had no opinion. You were agnostic.
Kumbaya, my Lord. Kumbaya.
The President of the United States should be investigated at any time. You were completely agnostic as to it.
I wanted Trump to be held to account and investigated for his actual offenses and the many harms.
And you knew what these offenses were.
And this was not one of them.
You knew his offenses were what?
What if I stumble? What if I fall?
Democrats and MSNBC.
Michael.
Liberals have really failed.
So
listen,
no,
I get it. Everybody knows that
the
you have a problem with
conspiracy
Democrats and MSNBC.
Look at some liberal with non-matching socks that they wear like they're God. I don't care if you're wearing non-matching socks. I don't care if you got a handlebar mustache. I don't care.
I have some similar critiques, but I'm just trying to get at what you knew before.
Test your might.
Have you raised those critiques with colleagues ever? What have they said? Have they acknowledged their...
Get the fuck out of my room and play Minecraft!
complicity in
I'm
this
sorry,
kind of
Michael.
fraud?
Do you think there's some type of commissary I hang out at MSNBC?
These would-be gods of the New World Order.
I don't know. You've been a contributor, haven't you?
Yeah, I show up and I go on these shows.
You're
and
friendly with the hosts and such, correct?
I am friendly with the hosts, yes.
Okay, have you pressed them on their complicity in this overwhelmingly, staggeringly, mind-bogglingly,
eventually,
fraudulent enterprise that they were central actors in promulgating?
People add extra words when they want things to sound more important than they really are.
Sometimes
I mean, I don't know that I would have put it that way.
Got him!
But
okay. Well,
but I mean, listen.
Right
I mean,
all the girlies say I'm pretty fly for a white guy.
Listen.
Okay, so
I have been very vocal on this show
100%.
about the excesses of this, but I'm trying to ask you a simple question that you seem to be reluctant to answer for some ungodly reason.
Question, Sam? I'm happy to answer it.
What did you know about Donald Trump's
We have pizzas. We have 300 hamburgers.
offenses before the investigation in July? What did you know, and how did you know this?
Teach me how to dug you. You know why? Because all the girls love me.
I knew that there was no rational basis for even postulating that there could have feasibly been a Trump-Russia conspiracy, which is what precipitated the investigation. Again, I'm not crying.
No, I'm not crying. You're crying.
About the fact that other offenses got uncovered incidental to that. But I wasn't also...
Were you aware that there was...
I knew it would spawn this paranoid frenzy that was going to overtake the Democratic Party and lots of liberal activists and cause real damage to the body politic.
My body is now your body. Come and get it and do with it whatever you like.
So, okay. So you're convinced that there's been a real damage to the body politic.
My body is now your body.
Now, were you aware?
Absolutely.
Were you aware that the Russians were behind the hacking into the emails dump and what they did on social media without any question as to what implications it had on the election?
The ballots are in, and one girl had to win.
Because you and I have no idea what that was. I suspect it wasn't a dramatic impact on the election, although obviously the emails were quite problematic for the Clinton campaign. But nevertheless, I happen to think there's probably a dozen things that were but-fors in terms of her loss. But were you aware of that?
Well, my attitude towards those emails was that they uncovered genuine corruption and malfeasance.
I understand that, but that's not what I asked you.
Because the resignation of the entire Democratic National Committee.
That is not what I asked you.
Revealed that Bernie Sanders
hating poor Americans, making fun of Bernie Sanders supporters as basement dwellers who you helped put in the basement. Well, here's a little news flash, sweetheart. We're coming out of the basement.
Got screwed out of.
That's not what I asked you, Michael. Why are you being so evasive? Why are you being so fucking evasive here?
People will do anything for a fucking like, and it doesn't mean a fucking single thing. It doesn't mean shit.
I invited you on the show.
The Society Show.
Because you wanted to malign one of my guests and cry about my...
I know it breaks your heart.
And I'm asking you some basic questions.
What does that mean?
She is
What's a toady?
And already 10 minutes into this, you won't even answer the basic question. Do you believe the report that you now tout in its saying that the Russians were interfering in the election by hacking into Hillary Clinton's emails and by their shenanigans on social media? Do you think that is true? Yes or no? Did you know that in July?
I unequivocally reject
Armed.
this notion that election interference, so we're talking about social media posts on Facebook, such as memes of Bernie Sanders, cartoons.
You coward. Answer my question.
Why are you running? Why are you running?
Not some question in your head.
I
Your brain gets smart, but your head gets dumb.
I agree that all those things have been alleged to being carried out by the Russian government, and I agree that it's
Do you agree?
Yes, we all agree.
That the Barr memo that you are saying exonerates Donald Trump. Do you agree that that letter, at least, says that they did that?
Yes, that letter does say that, of course.
Okay, so you don't believe that part,
no,
but you believe the other part.
Evidence? Yes.
You think the Barr memo is controlling...
I control reality. You bow down and do what I say.
...on the things that you're interested in proving, but not the things that you're not interested in proving.
Nah, not interested.
The thing I'm interested in illustrating is...
Nope. Not going to work.
No, not illustrating. Michael, you're being so evasive here. It's pathetic. You know what? Honestly, listen.
Listening to rap metal.
Listen.
Listen, you son of a bitch.
I'm listening.
This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to invite somebody else on here who has some integrity to talk about this, who shares very similar positions
I'm answering your questions. You're interrupting me after 30 seconds.
Get the fuck out of my room and play Minecraft! Thank you
For
Listening.
folks.